Welcome to our Attraction Mastermind, guys. First one, post Cabo. Excited about that. All right. So today, let's cover some positive focus. Let's discuss our proven system. We'll hit you up with some updates and announcements. We got a great agent attraction training for you. One that I think if you're going to master any one training that's going to affect your overall organization the most, it's this one. And then Game Changer Success Interview that AJ's got teed up for us. So wins, what do you guys have? Either maybe from Cabo if you were there, or just since we last spoke, what do you have, guys, related to agent attraction?
I do.
Go for it.
So one of the speakers on stage at Cabo was one of Brent's frontline, and the guy did. Brent brought him on. He didn't sell real estate, never intended to sell real estate, but he was going to be an attractor. I brought my daughter there because this is how I saw for her. She's 43. She was bought out by a hedge fund recently from her companies. And I knew she's a connector. She gets this stuff. John knows her. And so that was a big deal to be able to bring her. She is already taking her licensing right now with no intention of selling real estate, strictly as an agent attractor. So Wednesday morning when we were there, she gets up. We were all out on a yacht the day before, and she goes, "Well played, Mom. I'm getting my license."
Oh, I love it. Yeah, Kelly was my my number one lender when I was really just getting some wind beneath my wings in real estate, and I worked with her exclusively for about 7 years. And I mean, she's amazing. She's gonna kill this. So good for you. Excited. Who else got a win?
Jim Brantley and I are setting up an accountability. We're going to build like an accountability partnership each week. We're in the process of getting that set up. So not a win, but it will be a win. That's
awesome. No, that's a huge win, man. That's where it all starts. You know, we can have individual wins and people that sign up, and that's all good. But if you really want to win big at this, you need a running partner, and you need to be thinking long term. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Good for you, man. Just stick with it. Like, it's going to be hard. You're going to have ups and downs. You know, the next couple of years in real estate are going to be different than the previous couple of years. But just stick with it, man. And I'm excited for you. What's AJ always say? Marry the process and divorce the outcome. That will serve you well. All right, one more. Who's got one?
Hey, John, I got one. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good to see you. Yeah, we just brought on some awesome business brokers. These are guys been working on for a year. And so they just inked last week. They've got a brokerage of 84 business brokers. So about half of them have their license. And so they've been working real closely with eXp Commercial to really bring some value for all of us to reach out to business brokers. So anyways, excited about that. These guys are, I think these guys are going to be huge players.
That's awesome, man. Let's try to get those guys on a call like this sooner than later. It might not be quote unquote a success interview because they haven't done anything yet, but while it's fresh and those guys are excited, let's get them in front of the group and have them share what they heard and why they're doing this, because it's a little bit unusual to get guys from the business brokerage side. It's not as common. I wouldn't say it's unusual. It's not as common. So let's kind of dig into their psyche and find out what they see. And that might open some opportunities for all of us that we can think about.
Absolutely.
Sweet. All right, guys, let's roll. So our proven system is peak, present, pass, and promote. And I love going to these big events and like hearing from all the different speakers, because I run everything through the filter of everything I know in this opportunity. So anytime I hear somebody speak and I like them, I'm like, does what they're saying and how they got there, does it gel with what we're teaching here? And the answer is like always yes. And if it's not, it's kind of like, okay, well then I might not ever see that person again. Like they got on stage, they talked about something that was more theory than practice, but it's like everything goes through this filter, and it's like, you just have to get people to learn about EXP, and you have to open your mouth to do that. And then you get them in front of the information, you pass them and you promote them, and that's it. And like, there's your part and there's our part, and we need to make sure that we maintain and respect our roles in this, because if we try to do all 1 through 4 ourselves, we're going to fail. And then there's just a simple cadence around it. And I'll share some more stuff with you next week about one of the speakers that was at the event that I really liked. And it was basically just a different way of saying the same cadence, but I'll share that with you guys next week because I want to put together like some slides on it. But it was really impactful for me. But the cadence, like actual numbers of the cadence, is less important than your commitment to a cadence. So I'll say that again, like the number of people that you talk to is much less important than the commitment that you have to a cadence. Even if your cadence was 1 a week, which is like, hey, we're saying, hey, a 6-figure cadence is 1 a day, 5 days a week, 20 a month. But if your cadence was 1 a week and you were willing to die on that commitment for the next 5 years, I'd put my money on that person over somebody who comes in and calls like 150 people their first month and never calls somebody again. So it's like that time on task, that repetition, that consistency, but it's your commitment to it that's really going to get you to see the fruits of this opportunity, because you're going to have up months, down months, you're going to have up seasons, down seasons, just because you're going to be following the real estate market, but people are going to have pain at different points and you have to stay committed to the long term. So announcement wise, I want you guys to know, if you were not at Cabo, that every session from Cabo, both the individual slide presentations and videos of those talks are available at cabo23.com. As of my last checking about an hour ago, day 1 is up there and all 3 days of the slides are up there. I would suspect that day 2 and day 3 are going to hit any day now. But you go to cabo23.com and all those resources will be there. It's going to be really, really important. So watch those, post some comments in Game Changers like, hey, I just watched this talk. Here's what I got out of it. Encourage your organizations and your fellow Game Changers to get in there and really dive into that material, because there was a lot of you that were at the event, but there was a lot more of you that were not. And those talks are super powerful, and you need to continue to get into those and absorb them. And if you were there, like I already have earmarked in my email, when I was watching the events live, I was like, oh, I got to watch this again. And I got to send it out to all my frontline agents. So I send myself an email, rewatch this talk, send out to all level 1s. So as you're watching the talks, it's like, yeah, it's for you, but this opportunity is about, who we're bringing along on the journey with us. So make sure you do that from that context too. Yeah, so watch again. All right, cool. So speaking of events, our next big event is at the EXP Summit, the shareholders event in Orlando, Florida. And let's see who we got on here. Got Mr. Nathan Abbott on here. Nathan, you're speaking at that event, right?
Yes, I am, fortunately.
Nice, dude. That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Are you allowed to tell us what your topic is or no?
Well, they're working through a couple other things. They're starting off right now. I'm on the luxury panel, and
Nice.
they're working through some other layers as well too. So I'll probably care if I'm on a separate topic than that. I think that might be my first option, and then from there they roll me into another arrangement. But we're pretty much on the book I'm writing, The Legacy of Engagement, bringing back the lost art of relationship. And I recently did a speech talking about the different pivots in my life from people that I've met and how that's changed the path in so many ways, because I was never really chasing transactions, just more of the connection piece of this journey. And it was really well received the last time I did that speech. So probably that's one I'd share.
Nice, dude. Excited for you. It's gonna be awesome. Following that event, we got Build coming up in July. That's our next big agent attraction event. Should be 5,000-6,000 people there. Our very own AJ Maida and Lars Hedenborg are going to be on the panel speaking there. So you're not going to want to miss that. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, excited. Like, guys, you got to get your people to the events. You got to get yourself to the events, and then you got to build event to event. Like, all the momentum that you can create outside of these events is going to be great, and it's going to be good. And it's going to grow your business. But it pales in comparison to the growth that your business will experience if you get them to the events and you build event to event to event. So have these on your radar. We got EXPCon coming up in October. I'm excited that it's early October and not late October, November, where it starts to get into the holidays and becomes more difficult for travel. So that's going to be awesome. So be thinking like, what's a goal? Like, how many people do you want to have at these events? And as we talk about our training today, which is our 10 by 10 quick start strategy, think about how you can set targets around these items that we're teaching and how you can focus on, okay, a big component of my target and my goals needs to be people in my organization, obviously, but it's also about getting people to the events. So those go hand in hand as far as I'm going to say. Brent says, focus on your FLQAs going to the event. Like the value of an FLQA now in a contracting real estate market like we're in, like it's becoming very apparent to people. Like FLQAs are the name of the game. And if you don't plug them in and get them to the events, they won't really understand how big and how special it is of what they're a part of. So be focused on that. The purpose of this training today is to really provide a strategy for both your initial growth and if you're recommitting to growth. This is going to give you a framework that you can demonstrate to others. This is probably the training that I pull out of my toolbox the most often in recruiting settings, because when people look at this opportunity, first they have to see it. And then once they see it, then they have to believe that it's going to work for them and they can do it. And we, as people who have been in the company for a long time, we know it will work for anybody who will do the work. But a lot of times I've seen this even more so probably in the last 6 months or so, as I've been talking to, some pretty big people. It's like they're already successful in their real estate career. So when they look at an opportunity like this, and they're like thinking about, okay, if I come over to EXP tomorrow, I'm brand new in EXP and I'm not this huge success that I am outside of the EXP world. There's some fear and some anxiousness around that being new at something. So this is a great training to show them, because it's like, hey, you've already been successful in things way harder. Like to me, it's way harder to grow a big sales team in real estate and go from 0 to becoming a top producer yourself and then growing a top performing team. To me, that's way harder than building out an organization at EXP. It's like we always say, like it's harder to list a home than it is to get somebody to sign up for EXP in a lot of cases. So getting them to see this and really buy into it is going to help them with their belief in themselves. And when people have clarity, then they'll take action. So I love this quote: 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. So throw off the bow line, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails. In other words, just burn that ship. That ship is your safety net right now. It's what you're relying on. It's what you're putting your trust in, but you're going to be so excited. And 20 years from now is the quote, but like in EXP lifespan terminology, it's really like 5 years from now. Like, are there going to be hard days? Are there going to be no's? Are there going to be people that hang up on you? Of course. But 5 years from now, you're going to be so much more disappointed by the things you didn't do and the people you didn't call than by the ones you did. So that's what the opportunity has for us. And it's really exciting. So quick start strategy. Some of you are new. Some of you just got some new people in EXP at the event. Some of you are recommitting right now to your growth, like Kurt. He says, I'm going to get an accountability partner and I'm going to go and I'm going to do this. I'm going to recommit. And some of you are already growing and you have 100 plus people in your organization and you're not impressed by that because you're so successful in other areas of your life and your real estate business that this penny doubling concept that EXP hasn't become significant enough to catch your attention and you want faster growth. Cool. This is going to help you in all 3 of those areas. Tony Robbins says your life changes the moment you make a new, congruent, and committed decision. So you must have a compelling reason why you want to do this. You must rely on that compelling reason when things get tough. And it's what's also going to connect you with your audience. So when people watch my talk I did at Scottsdale, it's probably the most emotional, like I almost started crying on stage, talk that I've ever given, because it was rooted in my pain of running a real estate team. And that's part of my why for doing this. And when people see that, they instantly connect with me if they've ever experienced that similar pain. So your why doesn't need to connect with everybody, It just needs to connect with some people who've experienced the same thing that you've experienced. So one of the things that I've heard said before is if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not strong enough. So what's an area of pain that is in your past that EXP is going to solve for you, or is solving for you, or has solved for you? When you connect that why of why you're doing this to that pain, maybe, real estate took over your life and it created a divorce. Maybe you have been doing real estate and you got really, really successful, and that success, you weren't ready for it, and it created some havoc in your life. Whatever it is for you, like really connect with what is your pain from your past that you've experienced, because we all have pain. It's like, I've heard it said before that there's no child that grows up that doesn't have pain from their parents. You may have the best parents in the world, but if you really self-identify, there's some pain that your parents caused you. It's no different in business, guys. Like, we've all been on a real estate journey and we've all been hurt along the way. Maybe it was that listing that we didn't get and they listed with somebody else. And you still feel that today. Maybe it's the agent that left you, like it was in my case. Maybe it's, what real estate did and how it destroyed your life. So find that and find the pathway forward that EXP is creating for you, and then share that story. So quick start strategy. Let's focus on using this training to create a new story for ourselves. Let's focus on avoiding all the costly distractions and mistakes. I heard it said from stage in Cabo, where people come into this opportunity and they have ideas on how they want to do it. And we have a proven, repeatable, scalable model in place that they can follow and achieve all the success they want. And what they said on stage was, well, why don't you do it our way until you get 250 people in your organization and then try it your way? Like, let's get you there first and then go ahead and try it your way. And the reality is, once they experience it our way, they're probably never going to do it their way, or that'll be a very small piece of how they do it. We want to help you make money. If it doesn't duplicate, it doesn't matter. So let's look at a classic example, but let's really try to look at this through fresh eyes. And let's try to understand where our prospects are at as we look at this example. So we want to help people achieve a path to financial freedom. Like, that's what EXP offers above selling real estate. Yes, you can sell real estate at EXP. I believe you can sell real estate at EXP better than where you're selling it anywhere else, because of the collaboration and training and tools that we have available to us. But we can also achieve financial freedom through this model in a way that we can't do through selling real estate. So let's say that for you, an additional $15,000 coming in every single month, whether you were able to work or not that month, represents financial freedom. And by financial freedom, what we're saying is, hey, it keeps the lights on, it pays the mortgage, it pays your monthly bills. It's not saying that you're buying the new villa in Italy off of this money, or you're buying that Ferrari that you've always had a poster of since you were a little kid. But it's gonna, and actually you probably could buy the Ferrari. $1,500 a month would probably get you a nice Ferrari. But anyway, I digress. $15,000 a month, guys, coming in every month. If you get your prospects to really lean into this, it's going to be a powerful exposure for you. Because as long as I've been doing this, when I slow somebody down enough to be like, and I'll preface it this way a lot of times. I'll say, hey man, I know you wanted to come into this opportunity, and I know you want to make $25,000 a month, $50,000 a month. Heck, you probably want to be like Brent Gove and make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Like, I get that. But let's take a step way back right now. Right now in your real estate career, you have little to no passive monthly income coming in. You have a real estate business, you sell some houses, or you have a team and you have some agents, but like, it takes a lot of overhead and a lot of work for that to come in. You don't have any passive income, or better yet, I love it when they have some residential rental properties, because when I analyze that and they think they're a big shot because they got 3 rentals, one's on Airbnb and 2 are long-term rentals. I'm like, cool. So subtract all your expenses, subtract your mortgage, and subtract some basic repairs that you need to set aside for that. What's your positive cash flow on that? And usually it's like $2,000 or less. And I'm like, okay. And it took you your whole career up to this point to get to that. So getting them to really slow down, take a step back, because if you just hit them, hey, what do you want to make in this opportunity? They're like, I want to make $1 million. And it's like, okay, so do I. But what are you currently making? And what would $15,000 a month that comes in every month, whether you work or not, mean to you? Because when I ask somebody, what do you have to make in this opportunity 3 to 5 years from now, while you're still selling real estate and while you're probably dropping more of your real estate dollars to the bottom line? So let's say you're as profitable or more profitable selling real estate for the next 3 to 5 years. But above and beyond that, what would you have to be earning in monthly passive income in order for this decision to be a no-brainer for you? And 9 out of 10 people are going to tell you a number less than 15,000. But the magic to that is getting them to slow down and explain all that I just explained. Otherwise, they're going to give you some unrealistic number, and they're not really connecting the dots of how powerful this is. So we get them to a number that's $15,000 or less. We explain that's $180,000 a year. And we explain to them, hey, if you want to make $180,000 a year in passive income, and the only safe model to follow out there is for it to be truly passive, is you have to save up a bunch of money. And the 4% rule says that that's the money that you can withdraw safely to where you won't deplete the principal. That means you have to have 4.5 million in the bank. And a real gut check here is like, how are you doing on that? Like, you've been selling real estate for 15, 20 years. Do you have $4.5 million in liquid savings in the bank or in a stock or mutual fund? And they're like, no. I mean, 99.9 out of 100 people are going to say no to this. The most successful people I know, like, I can count on one hand the amount of people that I know of that, like, I actually would know who I am if I talked to them, that had this or more in a savings account in real estate, from real estate. So it's like, nobody has this, guys. Nobody you're going to talk to. So when it's 99.9, we can just say nobody and round up. So nobody's got this in the bank. And you're presenting an opportunity to them. And that opportunity is the equivalent of that thing that nobody has. And maybe they have $2.5 million, $3 million in the bank. Great. But what you're going to find is it probably took them 20 to 30 years to get to that point. And they probably don't have 20 to 30 years left of runway. So, hey, cool. Well, let me just show you at EXP what we do and why we're so excited and passionate about it. Because we believe that you can build revenue share part-time while you're selling real estate. And we like to look at this with a 3-year mentality. So if over 3 years, we could show you how to attract 10 agents with our help. Remember, we have a system here. It's 4-step system, and we're going to do half of it with you. So you do your part, we do our part. Could we help you attract 10 agents in 3 years? What do you think? Yes or no? They're going to say yes. Even people that don't want to recruit and don't ever think they want to recruit, it's like, hey, I understand you don't want to recruit, but you probably don't want to sell real estate for the next 30 years either. So let's get away from the we don't want to, and let's just be real with what we have to do. We either have to sell real estate for the next 30 years, or we have to drastically reduce our lifestyle, or we have to attract 10 agents, even though we don't want to be a recruiter. So let's go there with them, right? Let's take all of the doubts and objections off the table as we explain this. So cool. So with our help, and we're going to dig in with you. It's super important for us that we help you achieve this. We're going to help you attract 10 agents. Now, this conversation that I'm having with you right now is no different. This is the conversation that we have with everybody who joins the organization. So if we can help you attract 10 agents, and they're 10 capping agents, that's going to make you $2,800 per agent, or $28,000. But we're going to do the same thing with the people you bring in. So if you bring in 10, we're going to have the same training, the same conversation, and we're going to help each of those 10 buy into and do the same thing. That means that on your second tier, you'd have 100 people. Now, yes, you get paid on 7 tiers in EXP, but we're just talking about the first 2. Important that you point that out, because it's like, this isn't pie in the sky, guys. This is like, we're talking about 2 tiers of a 7-tier system and how this can play out. If you get 100 people that cap on your second tier, that's $3,200 per, which is cool because you get paid more to help the people that you bring in than to help yourself. That's 320,000 plus 28,000. That's 348,000. Let's call it 350,000. That's amazing. Like, that would be life-changing, would it not? And they're like, yes. And I say, but you know what? That's really cool and all, but they're not all going to cap. Some of them are going to cap. Some of them are not. And then I like to stop here and say, here's what it takes to cap. it takes $2.7 million in sales per year at 3% to cap. And I know a lot of markets aren't getting 3% on every deal, but that could be $3.2 million in sales at 2.5%. So you're like helping them see that and taking away that objection before it happens. So that's what it takes to cap. Some agents are going to do way more than cap. Some agents are going to not cap. But could we be really conservative and say, well, what if half of them cap? Half of them cap, that's $15,000 a month. And really, that is incredible, yes. But like what's more incredible to me is when I contrast it to my other options. So 3-year plan where I work with people at EXP that are going to help grow my sales business and help me attract agents, or save up 4.5 million after taxes. And you just got to really ask yourself, because this is real, which option is more likely for you? And when I saw that, let's be honest, I knew that I was way more successful and had way more money in the bank than most of the agents that were working for me and most of the agents I coached. And yet when I looked at this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a no-brainer. Like by the time I save up $4.5 million after taxes in savings, I'm going to be so burnt out, so bitter, so angry, and so old that I'm going to have no life at the end of that. Or I could attract 10 agents with the help of these people that are awesome and want to help me. I think I can do that in 3 years. Obviously it works out for me a lot quicker. How would it work out for you? So now that you know why you want to learn the 10 by 10 strategy, then we dive into how. And guys, I just take people through this and I take them through it real fast because I'd rather spend more time on the front of that. That's why I did this training today this way, because I want you guys to get into the emotions and into the why of these people. All of this other stuff we spend so much time on, yes, it's important, but you just need to show them that it's there. Once you get them rooted in like they need this and their options outside of this suck, and they get real with themselves, because most of them don't. Most people are walking through real estate in their career with their head in the sand. There's always going to be more sales. There's always going to be another year. There's always going to be, an up market ahead of them. And the reality is, guys, is that's not true. Some of these people are going to die. They're going to get sick. They're going to get cancer. They're not going to be able to work, and their family's going to suffer. Some of these people are going to have family members that go through a major medical incident and it wipes them out. Some of these people are going to have life situations that call on them and need them, and they're not going to be able to be there because they're going to be chasing the deal. So like getting this really emotional for people is so important and so powerful. And I think it's going to drastically improve your prospecting efforts. Because if we can't get somebody to slow down and look at this, and every situation is unique, but I've been dealing with some pretty big entities lately, and it's the same for them. And it's when I get these guys to the events and I sit down and I'm like, dude, I know you've been like the poster child of amazingness in real estate, and you've done all these amazing things, and you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of agents under your leadership. But like, how you doing? How close are you to 4.5 million? And it's like, once they realize that they're the most amazing person in their world and they're not even there, and they have something that they want and need, it clicks for them, because they're like, if I need this, how much more do all my people need this? And that's when they're like, I can get 10, and those 10 are going to want to get 10. So this training was designed to help people increase their belief about what it is they need to really be focused on. But it's got to be rooted in, we have to solve this math equation together for your future. And if we can't do this, none of the other stuff that I'm going to teach you matters. Because if they want to keep their head in the sand and think that the future is going to be awesome when they don't account for how they're going to retire and take their foot off the gas, it's a scary situation. People don't like to go there. It's like, people don't want to talk about politics anymore. We don't want to talk about the economy, but like, we have to, in order to be good stewards of who we're leading, and even if that's just you and your family. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that you can feel the passion and importance behind slowing down and squaring up to people and having that kind of a conversation, because to me, it's still the most powerful thing about this opportunity. And everything else we do and every other training that we have just reinforces that $15,000 a month example. Because if we get to $15,000 a month and we help other people get there, I promise you your income's going to go through the roof. But that's what you got to focus on. So with that, I'm up on time and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. AJ Miter.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Good stuff. I loved what you said about the cadence, man. It's more important that you're committing to the cadence, regardless of how many contacts you're looking to make per day or per week, than actually doing the 2-10-40. And that's so true, because we know the reality is if you really did a 2-10-40 for even 12 months or 24 months, you'd be well on your way to being one of the top attractors in the company. That's like the number. If you're hitting that, you're guaranteed to win at an extremely high level. But if you just made a commitment to talk to even 2 agents a week for the next 2 years, I mean, that's like a couple hundred agents, you're gonna be well on your way to making a significant amount of rev share. Significant is different for everyone, but financial freedom, I would say, could be achieved in 2 agents a week for 2 years. I think you could get to 10-15 grand a month even on that cadence. So good stuff. I like it. So with the interview today, we have Kathy Burns on, again, repeat guest. I always love having our repeat guests on, because the reality is we have some really good attractors in our organization, and I like to get them back on. So without further ado, Kathy, how you doing today?
Great. Love going to
Good.
Cabo. Very excited about that.
Yeah. You
So,
are. Go ahead.
I just did something. I decided to burn my ships and make this
Okay.
last transaction that I closed on my solo deal. I'm gonna just 100%.
So you're saying you're retiring from selling real estate? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Wow, congratulations.
As far as I mean, I still want outgoing and incoming referrals, but those incoming referrals I'm going to give on my front line. I do have a $4 million one coming up, so I'll probably take that one. But but for the most part, I want total freedom to do this, because I'm older than most everybody on here, and I really want to just have fun like we just had in Cabo. I like teaching. I like giving back. That's what I want to do. Drive my car.
That's amazing. So let's start there. So what got you to that point? Because I would say, at least based on the study that I did for agent attraction, most people, like, their goal is to retire from selling real estate within the next 3 to 5 years. And they say their primary solution to that is going to be revenue share. So I think when everyone hears that, they're like, oh, wow, I would love for that to be me sooner than later. So what was it that got you to today where you're saying, hey, I'm essentially retiring from real estate, aside from the $4 million deal that's coming up? I would take a $4 million listing tomorrow if one presented itself. So I get that. But what got you there? Was it just like, hey, enough's enough? Or was it a financial goal you were looking to hit? Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I've been with EXP now 5.5 years, and I've been frustrated every year that production got in my way. Obviously, I could have still done it, but it felt like it was always in my way. And I said, I just want to focus in on that. I felt distracted with like even how to do it. I was fortunate to have a guy that joined my team pretty quickly who drove my line deep. So that was great. And that's where the bulk of the money, I'm averaging around 5,000 a month right now. The ticket is for me is that 15,000 by June, which is right around the corner. And it's just a matter of 2 FLQAs. And I've been looking at those 2 FLQAs for a couple of years. And yet I have 60 some people on my third line. And I'm like, Kathy, stop working other stuff. Focus in on those people. And I just said, enough's enough. I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't even like it. I never really liked it. I'm decent at it, but I never really liked it. I was just trying to have a job, that would take me from broke to something.
Yeah, I feel you there. I can relate to that. It's a great question whenever I get maybe pulled into new opportunities, or if I'm just evaluating what I'm currently doing work-wise. I always ask the question, if I won the lottery for $100 million today, how would my life change? You know, what else would I be doing? Where would I be living? What kind of hobbies would I have? Who would I surround myself with? And I think if you ask yourself that in terms of selling real estate, if you won $100 million in the lottery tomorrow, would you still sell real estate? I would say, you know, put it to John, if it's like, if the percentage is so small, we might as well round it up to nobody. There'd be like nobody selling real estate, you know,
Yeah.
like, unless maybe it's a $4 million listing, but even then you probably won it.
I
So
guess.
yeah, so that's good.
Yeah.
So 5,000 a month for those that don't know, real quick, just tell us where you're at with total FLQAs and total FLAs, total org size.
My org size was 194, and then it dropped yesterday, one. I have 12 FLAs, and I just dropped one from 8 to 7 yesterday. So my focus, I watched that my.exp realty website like a hawk. I'm trying to see who can I help to lift them up, so that I don't want to lose these people. So I want to see, are you worth helping? Because not everybody wants to be helped. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that insulting. I'm saying if you're just in this is just a hobby, go have your hobby. If this is something that you want to be leveled up, let me help you, because that's something I want to do. So that I'm 7 levels deep, 193, and 7 FLQA. So that's what I mean. I'm going to get that one who just dropped off. She just didn't have enough sales. She had a family scenario that kind of knocked it out. So those are the ones that I want to give my referrals to. I'm still in my BNI organization where I get business. So I will just put that off with the ones that I feel I can level up, especially the 3 that I'm trying to make over there. I did just get my daughter to agree to become a recruiter. That's all she'll do. And she'll be a powerhouse at that. I don't know if you ever met her, AJ, but she just sold her business to a hedge fund, and she's retired at 43. So
wow.
I said, you need to do something, girl. Here, this is good.
Wow. Well, just out of my curiosity, was her business the dog park?
Yeah, she had the dog bars, 3 of them.
The
And
dog bars.
a
Yeah.
hedge fund came to her 2 years ago, and she's been working with them, trying to get that number up, and she finally settled on a number she was happy with.
That's exciting. Very cool. Yeah, I never met her, but I used to board my dogs there when I was living in Lake Norman, and we would go there sometimes with friends. That's cool. So gosh, so you mentioned getting to this 15K number this summer. Do you need to build your organization bigger, or do you just need to get those couple more FLQAs for that to happen?
I want to go wide. I really want to be, my goal is 20 wide, is my target. I have been working with somebody in Portugal that I believe is going to, and she is a major player with 15 agents in her organization. She's, I met her on LinkedIn. I just made a comment on a LinkedIn post that I was looking for realtors in Portugal, because I got my vision board right here. And I have all the countries that I want to be a part of because I like to travel. And so I just made this casual post. I don't even know if it was hers or not. And I said, I'm looking for realtors in Portugal. She responded. It ended up that she was coming to the States. She's an American from Texas, and she has a luxury firm there in Portugal with 17 agents. 15 agents, I think. Get my numbers mixed up. But anyway, her average price point is 1.7. She's already met with the head of Portugal. She's met with the head of Europe. Again, with Portugal, she got her financials, John, because I had John on with her as a 3-way as well. And I did that because I was explaining how he built his firm up from a single agent to a firm to a mortgage company. And then he just kept leveling up and then stopped. And I said, what's your goal? I said, are you in production anymore? And she said, no, I'm out of production. She goes, but it's a grind running this business. And I said, I know a guy and you'd probably love to talk to him. John agreed, gets on the phone. He built me up like crazy, which was great because I've been really worried because she's in Portugal that she's just going to pick one of these power players over in Europe instead of going with me. But I flew down to Florida to meet her at her roadshow that she was bringing to the United States. And I brought her 24 leads of people Americans interested in property in Portugal. She thought I rocked the world that I did that. And it cost me nothing but points and $250 in my room because I had points for my hotel. I just went down for the night and it's been great. And now her next meeting is with the head of Portugal again, and she's bringing her team to see that the team likes it. So that could change everything. It will change everything. I'm just going to see it.
That's amazing. Now that's like next level work in this thing. Portugal, I would love to go too. So if you make plans at some point to go there, I hear it's great.
Oh, it's
Lisbon,
great.
yeah. I know, and I know there's tax advantages too moving there as an American. I don't know all the details, but
yeah, it's a golden visa, and that's why so many people were interested because of their golden visa.
We could do a whole other training on that.
Yeah.
So you have your vision board in front of you. You're just always full of energy. It seems like you have this positive mindset. Well, what are some strategies around goal setting, having a vision board, like how you structure yours that you can share with the group? Because one thing that I'd love everyone to do, and if you guys want to share it with me after you do it, is establish your goals and create a vision board, because I agree with you that it's crucial to your success. How do you structure your goal setting and your vision board?
Well, I've been doing vision boards since the 90s.
Wow.
I like
cool.
them in a circle.
A circle.
I like them in a circle. I like
Okay.
balance and I do them in pies. So Jesus is in the center for me. And then you've got family, wealth, health, community, fun, and finances. You chop them up into pie-shaped pieces because I want it to feel balanced, because I want a balanced life, right? And
Yeah.
And every year I have on there, the fun stuff. I've got family pictures on there because I want to be involved with my family. Of course, I've got church pictures. A home I'd really like to have on the water. But a big section is all about travel, because travel is fun and new places. And for me, that theme of making real estate fun again is a big thing for me, because I just like having fun. But I write out my goals in those categories, usually in December, and then I host a vision board event, always at the LePage Johnson office, since I've been with them. And I invite non-EXP agents, EXP agents. I invite clients, because clients are good referral sources too, and different vendors that I'm with. I invite all those people. I supply the boards. I even get a bunch of pictures. I prep them how to go find pictures instead of magazines. Takes too long. It's old school. Tell them to go into print out some of their own pictures from Facebook. Go in. I like words on mine. I have a lot of words. Like I have a word on this necklace and it says empowered. It's also on my license plate of my car. I want to be empowered and empower. That's a big deal for me. So I like words all over my thing, and sayings. And so I really focus on that to bring that in. And another thing that I do with my organization, just as you did Game Changers, there's so much data out there that they feel overwhelmed. So my little group here, we are 190 some people. I created a Facebook page for them where I'm grabbing some of these pieces, putting them in there and tagging them, because we're a smaller group. So they're tagged all the time. Like, the be able to have those videos from Cabo. That's a big deal. That Bill Pipes, is that his name? Bill Pipes? Yeah. He was amazing. Yeah. So I put that on there. I want the ones that who will go search it out. I tell them about these two events that are happening on Tuesdays and Thursdays to every week. For the ones that want to level up, here's a system in place. You're crazy not to participate in it. my people. Shoot, I invite all kinds of people to the Tuesday one and follow up with them. So I'm on a mission. I'm going to make this friggin' thing happen.
I love it. I love that. That's a really cool concept, how it's in a circle. I like that. Jesus in the middle, then all your goals around that and words. If you guys are looking to make something like this, really easy way to do it. I love to use Canva, and I'm like Kathy. I don't use the magazines anymore. I'll go to like Google Images. I'll go to Pinterest to find images of the things that I like, and I'll arrange those all on Canva. It's just drag and drop, extremely easy to use. And what's cool about Canva now is you can actually print right from the website. Actually, right before this call, I printed a Game Changers logo poster that I'm gonna put behind me. And it was like $13 for a nice poster, including shipping. So right from the website, you can print a nice big vision board and then take it to Staples and get it laminated if you want and put it all around. I like to do mine 8.5 by 11 because if it's in like a briefcase, you can travel with it. You can put them all around your house. So that's how I do mine. And then on one side I do goals, the other side I do the vision board.
Oh, I love that.
I call it my vision sheet.
I also
Yeah.
have maps. I've got the US and I've got the world, and I got push pins. They're all up here too.
That's
And
cool.
I have thermometers for my goals, like as I'm hitting them for the money.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I did that when I sold real estate. We always had a big thermometer in my office. I pulled up my numbers here, Kathy, because I was curious. I was at 199 agents at the end of January 2018. That month I made $4,000. The next month I made $5,000. So my income was very similar to yours at a similar sized organization. And then just 3 months later, I was up to $14,000 a month. So where you're trending and what your goals are is right in alignment with what my tracker shows. So
awesome.
so you're spot on. I'm rooting for you. Did you say June for 15K?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That's the plan.
It's possible. Yeah, 15K is that magic number, and we talked about this before, me and John, where it's like you can live such an extraordinary lifestyle on 15K a month. I actually went back and looked at my notes when John was talking about, because I was thinking for me recently, because I love RVing and I'm going to do it again. So I'm like, what would it cost me to, like, if I went back in that lifestyle? And so I went back to John's notes when he was talking about it, and it was like what John, like 13,000 a month to travel.
Yeah, I vacation
full time.
I was full time on the road for 14 months, and my average over those 14 months was 12,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like this dream lifestyle where you can just travel full time. Heck, it'd be even cheaper to go overseas and do it, in some of these lower cost areas, like maybe the Philippines or Thailand. It'd be much cheaper. So that's it, guys. My organization, when I hit 14K, was the end of the month was 360 agents, which means when I made that 14K, my organization was only around 250. So I got paid on about 250 agents and made 14K at that time. So yeah. So if you guys are like, hey, that 15K sounds good for me, I would be targeting 300 agents, 400 agents. And then it depends what level they're on. If you're more spread out, it's going to be a little different. If they're all stacked levels 1 through 3, it's going to be different. And then it matters how many wide you're unlocked. So there are some variables. Darren, to track it, I just have a spreadsheet that I built out. So I track it every month, the first of every month. It's like Christmas. I go in there, I look at my EXP, and I just pull over the numbers. So I just manually track it. I track all levels. So levels 1 through 7, I track the total. I track net agents added. I track percentage change month over month. I track actual paid and projected paid. So I actually forward project my income. I track how many transactions close. I track the value that I got paid per transaction. I track the average of all levels, income wise. So those are the numbers I track. So
did you do that through an AI Excel spreadsheet?
it's just a Google sheet that I made back in 2017. So just super simple and nothing fancy. And it's kind of my brain just dumped on a spreadsheet. and it works for me. But now I have like 20 tabs all the way from my additional passive income streams to my net worths being tracked on there, my living expenses. I have agents that have joined me on there. I have the value of a prospect. I have a 21040 tracker on there. A lot of cool stuff. I'll see if I can't get one that doesn't have all my personal information in it, and then just share it in the group later.
That'd be
I'll
great.
remove some. Yeah, I'll remove some numbers. All right, Kathy. So talk a little bit maybe about, today you've been with the company 5.5 years. The company's a different company than it was 5.5 years ago.
Yep.
The market's a different market. A lot of agents have heard about EXP now, so recruiting's different. What would you say would be the best approach right now for people looking to attract in this environment?
One of the questions that's helped me is I asked, what's made you not choose EXP? Now, going from John's perspective, that's asking a negative question, but I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I just reached out to somebody yesterday I've been talking to a lot, and I said, man, I just came back from this trip. We've never gotten together. We keep saying we will, but we never get together. And I did a video text to him, and I said, guys, I know that this can change your life. And I said, let's just make this happen. And all they did was do a little heart on there. And I'm like, I did it to both the husband and the wife, because one of the things that Brent was talking about is get the spouse involved. And I thought, yeah, I'm getting you both on board here. I'm done just talking to one. And he responded. And that was I thought a video text would be a stronger than, because, sometimes people don't answer your calls. They're busy and stuff. I thought if I just got that out there. So I'm going to call that rascal today. But I do think, that how I got the owners of KW that were partial owners was, I just said, what's made you not look at EXP? Because and it's a baffled tone in my voice. Like, I don't get it. And that's part of it. And then they'll say something and it'll be so off center. And like with Nancy, the gal from KW, I just said, what if you misunderstood? Would you be willing to sit down and really take a look at it? And they ended up taking a look at it, and they had no intention of coming, none. Their whole agenda on their meeting was to find out why they were losing all these people to EXP. Now they come to the events now, and they're so on fire that one of them is actually going to completely step out of production so that their focus can be on that. She said, I'm burnt out. I don't want to do it anymore. I just want this. Because now the more you're at events where you're with people who are making good money in agent attraction, and you're getting all these tidbits of how you can help your own people to level them up, they get it. I don't need to keep doing this. Let me teach somebody else who's not burnt out yet. Let me help them level up. And that's where you can kind of give back to. That's where I'm at. Let me help you level up.
Yeah, I like what you said about just really challenging their thinking. Like, what didn't you like about EXP? Like, I don't get it, and your tonality is kind of like a baffled tonality, which is perfect. And
yeah,
going back to John's comment about how the cadence isn't, like, the number of the cadence isn't as important as having consistent cadence. I think that message rings true for this too. What you say when they say, no, I'm not interested in EXP, isn't as important as saying something after they say they're not interested. I think most attractors are just like frozen, like a deer in headlights when the person says, I'm not interested. They're like, okay, sounds good. But you do a good job. It sounds like pushing back and just saying, well, let's talk about it. You're opening the dialogue. Like, why didn't you join? And John put in a great script in the chat I saw as well. Just out of curiosity, what was it that you didn't like about EXP for you?
Yeah,
just
like
probing deeper. And I think the reason why people don't do a little bit of pushback to challenge their thinking is because maybe lack of confidence a little bit. And I think confidence is built by role playing. So practicing role playing with people, have a script in front of you when you're making these calls, having these conversations. So, because
I think
you can
go ahead,
Kathy.
Someone said, I think it was John, there's only like 5 basic scripts of a responding. So I don't have those down. I want to get those down, especially now that this is my focus. But the biggest thing, like you just said, is confidence. You know, I believe in EXP at my core, at my absolute core. And probably because I've gone to these events, I've met the different people, I've seen them at all different levels. You see some people growing like crazy, but also you see a lot of agents who don't have the energy to stay in this business. I think they said a quote, 30% of all agents will be gone in 6 months. Great. I was here in 2006, 7, and 8 when they were just bailing like crazy too. And I got it. But for me, it was non-negotiable. I didn't have plan B. It was this or nothing. I'm going to figure the friggin' thing out because, you know, you got to survive. And I'm thinking I didn't want to go work at some friggin' store. Why? I had a better shot at this than I did of working for somebody else doing something I didn't even know what I would do.
Right. Talk a little bit about how you're using the Tuesday Mastermind, because I see you're always engaging with the Tuesday Mastermind. I saw this past month you're like, hey, where's the calendar at? Like, you're ready to promote it, so it's got to be effective. I really don't know what you're doing with it, so I'm curious as well. But it is promoting that a strategy of yours? Is it working for you? Talk a little bit about that.
I'm in a flux on that. I strategize. I tell everybody about it. I tell my own people about it. I said, you got to be here just to level up. And I was just talking, I see Jeff's on here right yesterday. I said, Jeff, put these dates in your calendars. I work everything around this stuff because this is so duplicatable that this is the core that I want. So every Tuesday at noon, every Thursday, it's blocked out for anybody else that may be family, but that it would depend. Anyway, I'm focused on it. As far as the production on Tuesdays, I think there's gold there. This last Tuesday was incredible. And I invite people that I have put in that Go High Level site that we did through Lars and you guys. So I put about 470 agents in there that I was connected with on Facebook. So it's taken me a while to get it fine-tuned where we were sending it out effectively in a system of how to create that funnel. And that's only been going on for about a month. But now I'm seeing who's like filling out the form to do it. And I just had my VA set it up to give me a list of who are the ones that are actually checking in, even though it's creating a funnel. I want to make those my calls. And John and I were talking about that on the mastermind thing, that those are the ones to kind of focus in on because they're kind of raising their hand. So those would be some of the ones that I call. So I'm in process, I should say, but no one's come from that. But I also want my own peer that's already in EXP to level up their game. If they're still in the grind, then let's make you better, because this stuff makes your business better, which makes you survive and makes you also qualify. So it's win-win for us both. I
love that. Yeah, it's great for retention. Right now, just as good as for retention than even prospecting. We're in the name of the game right now for every real estate company in a market and environment like we're in, is retaining their agents as well. Yes. And that Tuesday call is great for it. So that's really awesome that you're promoting that to your current team. Everyone should be doing that. You know, let's help people sell more real estate. Yes. Let's get them involved. People will leave if they don't feel like they're a part of something. And as simple as it is, that call helps to build a culture inside of Game Changers Nation, inside the company, so that it creates a little more stickiness.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions for Kathy, go ahead and post them in. I saw Troy posted. He gets a lot of, I've been contacted by 100 agents about this. All EXP does is recruit. How would you handle this one? I personally don't get that one very often, but I could see how some prospects would respond that way if they're in a market where EXP is very prevalent. I would do like a pattern interrupt. So I would go in more strong and say, hey, you being contacted by 100 EXP agents just tells me what you already know is you're a top producer. You're crushing real estate. And what we're doing is attracting the biggest producers in the industry right now. In fact, you just see that the top RE/MAX team in Vancouver, Canada, just joined. Yeah. We actually have in almost every state, we have one of the top 3 teams in that state at EXP. So that kind of it kind of does a little like pattern interrupt, shakes them a little bit. And at the same time, affirms like, hey, we're attracting the biggest teams in the industry. That's why I'm reaching out to you. Then go with John's script just above on my cell phone here. So I don't have quick access to these chats, but then I would go back up to John's question and say, just out of curiosity, what was it that you didn't like about EXP for you? I learned scripts in the Mike Ferry organization called Expired Listings. So a script is simply a structure of a conversation. And when someone gives you an objection, like you put out there, you got to come right back with the objection handler. So, sometimes you handle the objection, sometimes you just skip over it. That one I would just kind of address, not necessarily handle it, and then go right into the next question. So you could have the objection handlers that John posted on scripts in front of you so that you can bounce to them as the conversation needs it. So I would more or less just address it real quick and then skip right into the question. You know, like if you aren't familiar with scripts, I would just Google like Mike Ferry's YouTube channel or go to YouTube, Mike Ferry's channel, and just hear the way he talks about scripts, expired listing scripts, for sale by owner scripts. It's a really effective way to communicate. That's what you're learning, is how to be a good communicator. And you always just want to repeat and affirm, address it, and then go on to your next question. So hopefully that's helpful. More than anything, I would say where people get stuck on that one is by them saying that to you. Again, it creates this deer in the headlights type of reaction in you. But if you just know that you're going to get that a lot, write out the best response you could possibly write out. Send it over to John, send it over to me, post it in Game Changers Nation to get feedback. Have that on your wall, practice it, role play it, and you're gonna be sitting there like a little kid on Christmas, like, I can't wait for them to say that to me, because you're gonna have the best response. You're gonna stump them. They're gonna like just be like, man, no one ever responded that way. Out of those 100 agents, no one ever said that to me. And then you're gonna do that nice pattern interrupt, and then you're gonna open up a real solid dialogue using John's question that he posted in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beautiful thing about sales, whether it's selling real estate or this, is there are just a handful of objections that you're always going to get. Get them on a piece of paper, practice them, role play them, and get excited when they ask them. Whereas right now, the majority of people are scared when they get an objection because they don't know what they're going to say, because they don't have them written down. They haven't practiced them. So they have no confidence around the dialogue. Flip that. Get excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my thoughts on that one. Cool. Good question, Troy. Yeah, everyone copy and paste John's top 5 objections that he deals with. All right, cool. Oh, check out Phil M. Jones, exactly what to say. Good tip. I've been seeing a lot about that guy. I think he's got a book out. Is that right, Aaron? I know he does courses or has like a certified coaching program.
Yeah,
certified.
So he's got a book and an audio book. I would just get the audio book and just listen to it as much as you can, and then it becomes like second nature. I mean, his conversation trees are amazing, and it's really natural. It's like, it just goes along with what you're talking about with scripting. Like Mike Ferry scripts is what, I mean, I'm a Tom Ferry coaching client, so I'm familiar with all those. And then, but the Phil M. Jones stuff is like kind of next level with that, and you can just add it into like your regular conversation. It's really natural. I'm actually going to a 3-day training in Dallas in June. So like 24 hours of like Phil Jones, and he's going to be there. It's fantastic. Really, really good. So I would recommend that everybody just get that book, get the audio book. It's like $16 or something, and just like go for it, because it's fantastic. He has like an open house script, and I used it. It's really simple, and I just like coming back from a training, like I was like, okay, I got an open house for like my listing, and I literally had one person come through the open house. I used the Phil Jones script, and I just closed them on an 800K house.
Nice.
So like literally one person came that day, and then I picked up a bunch of other potential clients like using that script on Saturday.
That's maximizing opportunity. Is that it right there, John?
Yeah, I got the book right on my desk.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
it's fantastic, man.
I like anytime I write any kind of copy or anything for video, I just go through it again and just like make sure that I'm saying like some of the top things in here. It just makes so much sense.
Some of it is like it's really good and really basic. Like the one that's like really good is like if somebody says something that's just off base or like they don't know what they're talking about or completely wrong, you're just like, why is that? You just like throw it back on them and then they'll talk themselves. It's amazing, man.
Yeah, that
So
is good.
Well, it's like how many times do we like ask somebody like in between three-way call exposures, okay, I'm gonna follow up and I'm gonna send you this. Make sure you take a look at that, and then we'll get on the phone with so and so. And a good follow-up right here that he has is, I'm guessing you haven't gotten around to whatever that thing was that you agreed that they were gonna do, and just assuming that they haven't, which like totally lets their guard down, and then going into like what they should have learned from it again.
Totally. The other one that's fantastic is the that I've been using this on like everybody, and it just like kind of turns the conversation around. Is this might not be for you.
This might not be for you, yeah.
This might not be for you, but like this is so good. That one's just excellent.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a great way to start your prospecting conversation.
He
This
actually
might not be
did
for you.
at the Tom Fair, the last Tom Ferry event I went there, Phil Jones was the keynote speaker, and he basically did like a 10-minute talk and then just like cold called on the audience and like just showed how terrible we are at our scripts and like how it just repels people. And then it was like not making a point of like that we all suck. He's like, these are like some of the top agents in the industry and you guys are terrible at conversations. And then like flipped it into his technique. Like everybody should get this book. It'll help with everything that you do.
Okay.
It's $10. It's $10 on paperback, $5 on Kindle.
It's
I'll be
small
picking
too.
that
I mean, you
up.
could read it in like an hour.
Yeah, I would get the audio book and just put it in your car because then like you just hear that, like you hear you just hear it over and over again, and it just becomes part of you.
What
Thanks
camera?
for the tip, man.
Your camera setup looks nice, Aaron.
Oh, me, I have my wife is a photographer. I have like some type of Canon DSLR, and then I got multiple lights. I got it all mounted. I'll take a picture and post it next time. Yeah. I do. I actually
we need
do
a
a lot of
studio tour.
Yeah, I do. One of the big parts of my business is home buyer classes. So I've been doing them on Zoom for like the past 3 years. So I got a pretty good Zoom setup.
Yeah, you got to tell me what kind of line you're using because I got the Canon too, but I can't connect it to my laptop as an external camera because I can't find a cord that makes that work.
Oh yeah, I'll talk.
Link.
So I got the R. I got the Canon R. So that's like the kind of down line. Like I don't know all the camera stuff. It was like $1,000. Like the camera was like 1,000. I have the
Looks awesome.
Yeah. I'll figure out the setup. You need to have like a converter, and then the other thing is the trick is you got to be careful with your Zoom because sometimes Zoom will update and then they won't support your software.
Nice.
Or support your hardware for a while until they update it. But I'll figure out the setup and I'll let you know.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Kathy, I want to bounce it back to you. As always, I like to end these interviews with a piece of advice or encouragement that you would give to someone just getting started on their attraction journey.
I think coming to this type of environment, coming to the events, you got to get it in your core. And when you're around people like even if you can just come to this is powerful, but you got to get it in your core. And when you have it in your core that this can work, and you know that you've done other accomplishments in your life, any one of us have done something that surprised them, you got through, you base it on that. Shoot, this is nothing. I'm really surprised at myself that I haven't gotten farther. So that really annoys me. I'm going to make it happen.
I love it. High standards. Let's go. Cool. As always, Kathy, thank you so much. Make sure you text me when you hit your 15K number. I want to celebrate that with you and get you back on again so we can all celebrate it and hear what you did to get there.
All right. Thanks.
Cool.
See you guys.
Awesome. We'll see you guys.